whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, Gavin.G-Rich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel GBoot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll live. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the...
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor.
Get on the baby. Yeah, gotta get on the baby. Come on, baby, gotta get on up.
Baby, feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
All right, feel the groove, get on the floor. Got to get on up. Happy Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, and also happy Valentine's Day. If you celebrate Valentine's Day, you and your significant other, your spouse, happy Valentine's Day to you. Ladies and gentlemen, hope everyone is doing safe. We are live, and I'm coming at you with 5. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Random Topic Tuesdays. We're back. I'm going to go ahead. Hold on a second. Here we go. Welcome. Darius from Atlanta. Danielle Meyer. Happy Valentine's Day to you too, dear. And a bunch of other people. Just thank you. Shout out to them. Well, come on. We got to get more people. YouTube is shadow banning us. And you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, because when I look at the numbers and all I got is 5 people, yet I have over 1,300 subscribers. Something is wrong. Now, that does not stop me. It has not stopped us from continuing our broadcast and doing what we have to do. But I'm gonna eventually, I have started to, I gotta put more videos up, but I am on Rumble. I am also looking at Caffeine TV. Another thing we might have to consider possibly, and I will talk about this another time, is looking at putting the show, probably limiting the amount of shows that I have been doing on this channel. I know we come here every Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Sunday, and Thursday, but I've been putting out. It's a lot to put out content and not see a return on it. This is an investment. When I come here every Saturday, every Thursday or Tuesday, Sunday, and I'm supposed to be part of this partners program, and yet YouTube has found a way to censor me, saying, well, we don't think you qualify for this. And they can put up these couples who do these stupid pranks. You put up fart jokes, put up girls farting on their partners, things like that. Not to say that I don't laugh at some of the stuff. I do. But that's all we're looking at. That's all we have. Then it's a problem. Is all I'm saying. And when you try and take the voice from the voiceless, then free speech in this society is dead. There is no such thing as due process because you obviously don't believe in it unless it applies to you. You can find me, one of the views that I had, this is actually my account. This is the Rumble name you can subscribe to, is right here. So just go to Rumble, type in GRich2786. That's my Rumble channel. And we're going to start putting some content there. I'm also going to look at Caffeine TV. But nevertheless, guys, welcome. What are your plans for Valentine's Day if you celebrate it? What are y'all planning to do? That's our topic for today. I wanted to ask you about what are your plans for Valentine's Day? Do you have anything you want particularly you want to do? Let me know. Now, if you saw the description, in the description box, our topics for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is Michael Irvin fights for his name, and Brett Favre suing Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee, as well as others, over recent remarks that they have made on their program. I guess we could start with Mr. Favre, because this one, of course, got attention. Now, y'all know I always talk about Shannon Sharpe all the time. And speaking of football, before I even get into that, I thought I should do this. I want to salute the Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 57, ladies and gentlemen. This brother worked very hard. He achieved something that no man probably few men ever do. Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 57, Mr. ASAP Rocky, right there. Yes, ASAP Rocky is the Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 57. He got Rihanna pregnant again. Uh, he got her pregnant again, and she's a multi-billionaire. He has secured the bag double times, and he by forgetting his umbrella. A the Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 57. Because that's all everybody talked about was why Rihanna was stiff. Rihanna was stiffing and Smokey Robinson on stage. And, you know, for, they were calling up big, everybody was following Rihanna. Of course, there were people praising her. To the truth be told, I fell asleep when Rihanna came on. I was knocked out and wasn't watching uh, her performance so much. I really didn't care for it. I've never really been a Rihanna fan. Now, believe it or not, she actually did not make any money. Yeah, he stayed in that oven. That bun, he stayed, he slept in that oven. Now, Rihanna didn't get any money for performing the Super Bowl. You know why? Because according to this, there's not an appearance fee, and the artists are paid on a union scale, which is about $1,000. She is worth 1.4 billion. Damn, that's a full head right there. She is worth 1.4 billion, and Rihanna was on the stage, floating stage, and so forth. I don't know what the little white things were. I guess she's pregnant. They all look like sperm to me. So when I saw it, I didn't know. I didn't know what it was, but I think somebody I knew. Shout out to somebody that I knew of had someone that was a dancer in the program, and this was her first performance in 6 years. So all she did was sing. She didn't dance or nothing like that. A lot of people were talking about they expected at least Rihanna would do some type of collaboration with someone, either Jay-Z or Drake, or somebody would come on with her. That didn't happen, so some people were disappointed with that. So it was really there were a lot of people who were excited, happy, and praised her performance. Others not so much. I didn't really care for it. I know people say, "Well, she was pregnant, she was so forth." I didn't knock Rihanna up, and if she wanted to dance and couldn't, if it was too much for her, she could have passed up the performance if she wanted to. But she decided to do a free show. My thinking is she's probably going to be working on an artists like that never stop making music. I know she's nominated, I believe, for an Oscar for the Black Panther Wakanda Forever song. So she likely will be back, and she's still working on music. She's probably got an album that's going to come out. So that wouldn't surprise me. But I wasn't too keen on the Super. I mean, most I told you on the Super Bowl performance. It's not really the performances really are not the same. I think there's a point where when we look at performances, especially when we look at a Super Bowl performance, there's there's Michael Jackson and then there's after Michael Jackson. Now I'm not old enough to remember when the Super Bowl halftime show used to just to be bands and uh like circus attractions and stuff, because that's typically what happened. But I think around the time of I want to say late 80s, early 90s was when they started to get the idea for having these high profile entertainers perform. And I still remember the 93 Super Bowl performance where Jackson came out, jumped out of the stage and just stood still and had people fainting. I remember stuff like that. And hold on, guys. I got you. I'm sorry, I was typing your poll. So, yeah, Michael Jackson just ripped it. And then I remember when they had Prince, and Prince was performing, and Prince put on a hell of a Super Bowl performance. And doing that in Miami while it's raining and performing Purple Rain made it even much cooler. So I remember those, I remember when Beyonce performed and the power went out afterwards. Madonna performed with Southern. I remember seeing Bruce Springsteen, The Who, Paul McCartney, all of these artists. But Michael Jackson changed the game. Now, to get into what we're talking about here, Brett Favre is suing or has filed a lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee, as well as a Mississippi auditor. So what's happened is that if you remember last year, we were commenting about these monies that were purportedly stolen or embezzled, or that were purportedly stolen from the Mississippi Welfare Department, or I should say, misappropriated, might be a better word, allegedly, by members of Mississippi, by Mississippi officials that went up to the highest offices in government, including the governor of Mississippi at that time, Phil Bryant, as well as legendary quarterback, former NFL Hall of Famer, former Green Bay Packers quarterback and a Hall of Famer, Brett Favre. Now, all of these are alleged; these are allegations, and Shannon Sharpe, I was very vocal about what he thought about Brett Favre. And so he has filed defamation lawsuits because Sharpe actually called Favre a sorry mofo to steal from the lowest of the low. And that Favre stole money from people that really needed money, Skip. And his attorneys have alleged that these are egregiously false and defamatory statements. And so he has filed a lawsuit. Now, now I'm going to play I'm going to play one video from, he's also suing Pat McAfee, but I'm going to show you the article from CNN. So what's going on here is that Favre, in newly filed lawsuits, he says that the sports commentator Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee, as well as Mississippi State Auditor Shad White, defamed him. According to the suit against Sharpe, Favre claims the Pro Football Hall of Fame tight end made egregiously false and defamatory statements about him on the show. A 2020 state audit found that tens of millions of dollars were improperly used from the state's welfare program. Portions of the money were to be used to build a volleyball facility at the University of Southern Mississippi, Favre's alma mater, as well as $1.1 million paid to the former quarterback for a public service announcements campaign. Favre returned $500,000 in May of 2020 and repaid the remaining $600,000 in October of 2021 after the state's auditor issued a demand letter for it, according to the auditor's office. But the auditor's office maintains that Favre still owes $228,000 in interest payments. Favre has denied the money, knowing the money he received was welfare money, saying in a statement last year that he was being unjustly smeared in the media. And so the state of Mississippi has filed a lawsuit against Favre and others as part of a massive civil suit to recoup the millions in misspent welfare funds. He has not been charged criminally in the case. Now, Favre's suit also alleged that McAfee defamed Favre on his podcast when he called the former quarterback a thief and who was stealing from poor people in Mississippi. McAfee made a statement, and I'm actually going to play a video of what he had to say about what was going on. Regarding Shad White, Shad White released a statement saying everything Auditor White has said about this case is true and is backed by years of audit work by the professionals at the Office of the State Auditor. It's mind-boggling that Mr. Favre wants to have a trial about that question, White said in a statement. Mr. Favre has called Auditor White and his team liars despite repaying some of the money our office demanded from him. He also claimed the auditors are liars despite clear documentary evidence showing he benefited from misspent funds. Instead of paying New York litigators to try this case, he'd be better off fully repaying the amount of welfare funds he owes the state. Damn. Now, Favre said White has carried out an outrageous media campaign of malicious and false accusations against him and a brazen attempt to leverage the media attention generated by Favre's celebrity to further his own political career. Now, let's play what Pat McAfee had to say on his podcast. He had this video, and I want to show and share with you another story because Brett Favre has also filed another motion to dismiss the lawsuit against him. So let's play what Pat McAfee has to say. Now, you know Pat McAfee, he actually is a former football player himself. He's a punter, and he also, I know, does wrestling and commentary. So I'm going to play what he.
Bring up a conversation in my
and let me just say, this is all fair use, guys.
life these days. I'm getting sued by Brett Favre.
What?
Yeah, we made it, boys. Hey,
You arrived.
Take a bow.
let's raise our drinks.
Sure.
When we started this little show in the basement of a house that certainly was haunted.
Yep.
And the mics rarely worked, and we talked for an hour and a half on numerous occasions and found out that we weren't recording. This show has grown so much that we're lucky to be live from Radio Row.
Yeah.
We're lucky to have a little bit of say in sports. We're thankful that we have the opportunity every day to be a part of the sports media world. And I guess whenever you get a little bit too big, you fly a little bit too close to the sun.
That's right.
I'm getting sued alongside Shannon Sharpe and an auditor from Mississippi by Brett fucking Favre.
Wow.
Man.
Brett Favre suing me in a defamation lawsuit saying I defamed his name to try to earn a profit. With this, obviously, I believe comes discovery and depositions and all these other things. So I would like to let the New York lawyers that wrote me 2 letters before this thing got announced. First letter was, we would like you to go back and erase every single video that has Brett Favre's name mentioned in it from your YouTube library, your Twitter library, and everything else. This is a warning shot pretty much.
Now, I want to point out something too. Brett Favre is not only going at Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee, he's also issued a letter against Dr. Umar Johnson to retract any and all statements that he has made. A cease and desist letter was sent to him, and Dr. Umar actually responded. First of all, I just want to say right now, Brett Favre, wherever you go, I will go. Dr. Umar will go everywhere you go. Dr. Umar ain't scared of nobody because I'm going to be there. The Prince of Pan-Africanism is going to be there. If you want to do it in Philly, if you want to do it in Miami, if you want to do it in Mississippi, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, I will be there. My school will be there. So let's finish the video. I had to do that one.
So I looked at that. I said, that is hilarious. Of course, we're not doing that. Put that down, move on with my life. Then a few days later, just a few days ago, actually, you have until Wednesday, okay, this Super Bowl week, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time to issue a public apology to Brett Favre and also to erase all of the video in your catalog that involve Brett Favre's name. That is 8:30 Wednesday. So my wife read that to me because I was here. She was not here yet. And I immediately started laughing because my wife understands I'm one of the worst apologizers in history. It's tough to get me to do it. It is. It's very difficult. So now I had a deadline, 8:30. I was planning on doing it.
Yeah.
We played pickleball.
We did. It happens.
Flew right through
Oh, I'm sorry.
What do you
I just
do?
learned about a drop shot. Oh, I'm sorry. I just learned how to serve with like a wicked topspin on it. And I got caught up. That timeline came and went. And all of a sudden, I'm getting sued. I would like to let everybody know the quotes that were in that lawsuit were certainly accurate. But there's one word I believe that was said often on this particular program, if you were to watch it all, and that would be allegedly.
That's right.
Our job is to report the news. Allegedly, what was going on down in Mississippi with Brett Favre, the man who is suing me for money and for defamation, was being reported on this particular program because we owe the sports media world our coverage of it. We take our job seriously as journalists. Just a couple of days ago, we introduced to the world darkness retreats for 4 days.
That's
There
right.
you go.
We've made poop jokes before.
Mhm.
Bud.
We've also potentially been a part of building an indoor facility, which is just like a $100,000 bubble for the Cincinnati Bengals team.
Mhm.
We take a lot of pride in our work. We had to cover that situation, and we certainly said allegedly. And a lot of people are wondering how my lawyers are going to handle this. You know it. I ain't got them. So let's ride this fucker. I'm excited to see how it goes. I'll see you in court, pal. Cheers to everybody, and cheers to Feel Good Friday not being ruined at all by that.
Cheers.
No.
Cheers.
Pat McAfee. That's Pat McAfee.
I'd be AJ just sitting next to me.
I got you.
Just so I can have somebody with me so I'm not bored.
I'll wear a suit. Knows the other guy.
Did you guys say that he was a sticky finger bandit? Yeah, but then allegedly, because allegedly he was.
Yeah,
I mean,
allegedly.
Right.
That's right.
but nonetheless, the more we speak, the better it gets. And I don't think this is ending anytime soon.
I don't think so either.
So shout out to everybody that gave me the heads up I'm getting sued and for all the support and love. But I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. This was my decision to handle it. I'm just going to put a GIF up here. What a joke. I don't know. I've had lawyers reach out to me and tell me how big of a joke this whole thing is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whatever. I assume this is going to come at some point with how big the show has gotten. We're lucky for it. We're thankful for it. We move on.
Well, he actually has got a point. Let me say this too. When you're talking about defamation of character, let me just get just a little FYI from a legal standpoint. There are defenses to that. Typically, the biggest defense is the truth. If what has been alleged or purported to have occurred, and see that's how you're careful with that, then there is no defamation. If he was lying about this and he did steal, he definitely would not be able to win a defamation lawsuit. Now, he's asked the court on Monday. He asked the court yesterday to dismiss a civil complaint filed by the Mississippi Department of Human Services seeking to retrieve funds attributed to Favre's part with what the state calls a statewide welfare fraud scheme. And the lawsuit against Favre alleges the Mississippi Community Education Center directly paid Favre $1.1 million in federal temporary emergency assistance for needy families program funds for promotional ads and speaking appearances that the state auditor said never occurred. In other words, they're saying Favre never made the ads. He never did the speaking engagements. And he had asked, we know about this, to build a new volleyball stadium at the University of Southern Mississippi, where his daughter was playing volleyball at the time. They reported that at least $5 million of the welfare funds were channeled to his new facility. This is from the nonprofit news organization Mississippi Today. Now, Favre's defense is saying that he didn't know the billions in grant money he helped secure for the volleyball team center came from welfare funds. And as I already read, he's reportedly paid he's alleging he's paid $1.1 million already, paid $500,000 in May of 2020 and $600,000 in October of 2020. But they're still saying he owed interest, and of course he's alleging he's being smeared. The other defense you can also say with defamation is if a person gives his opinion. Now, there is something called freedom of speech. People can give their opinions about people all the time. And especially, I believe the grounds for defamation, it depends on whether that person is also public or private. Brett Favre is a public figure. He obviously is an NFL Hall of Famer. He's been known through the 90s for his career. I believe he was, I know my sports. At that time, I think he was the first man to win the MVP award, I believe, 3 straight years. When he was with the Green Bay Packers, I remember, this is all John Madden's fault, by the way, because he hyped Brett Favre up. You know what, Brett Favre is just, boom, if he throws the ball here, Sterling Sharpe, and he gets here, that's Brett Favre. He started 321 consecutive football games from 1992 to 2010, which is a league record. So he was known as an Iron Man. And I was a fan of Brett Favre at the time. I was a fan of his, I must admit. Nowadays, not so much. Excuse me, y'all. I hear gunshots. Yeah, from 1995 to 1997, he was the MVP of the league. He was hot. He was hot at that time. He appeared in 2 Super Bowls, Super Bowl 31, which was right here in New Orleans. He lost Super Bowl 32. So he started every Packers game from September 20th of 1992 to January 20, 2008, which was a record of 253 games. That was a streak. So I was a fan. But, now when you look at this stuff, especially what happened, it is purported alleged to, to be, he is alleged to have engaged in shady behavior as a public figure, of course. And that's actually a crime in Louisiana. I think that's still in the criminal code. Of course, it's different laws in different states. But yeah, if it's the truth, which he's gonna have to answer that it wasn't true. If they're absolute privilege, including litigation privilege addressed here, qualified privilege, innocent construction, and opinion. Now, you state your opinion as a fact, that's where you get in trouble with defamation. But normally, if it is true, then that's another thing, is that in the civil case, he doesn't have a fifth. Remember, Brett Favre is not charged with a crime. So if he decides to sue Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee and others, he's going to have to answer eventually, I imagine, because Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee, they may have eventually. I know Pat McAfee said he doesn't have a lawyer, but eventually he might hire one. And if he does that, they're going to get to the bottom of Brett Favre's statements and it could lead to something. So you might be, as the old saying, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. But what do y'all think? Danielle said he's not going to win if this goes to trial. I don't think he will win either. And I don't think he wants to try. It might just be trying to scare the participants in order to drop what they have to say in the lawsuit. If this goes to trial, it might be bad for him. So y'all hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that notification bell. Ladies and gentlemen, Pops has stopped in.
Hello, everyone.
Dad says hello. Hello, everyone. All right. So we were just talking about Brett Favre's lawsuit.
Oh.
Brett Favre is suing Shannon Sharpe and Pat McAfee over his for defamation of character because they said he was a thief.
Did he steal the money?
It's alleged that he did.
What did the court say?
Well, he's never been charged with anything yet, but
until he's charged.
But the thing is that the auditor of the state of Mississippi says that they have records showing that, and text messages have come up showing that he had purportedly gotten this money, and he admitted he got this money, but he didn't know it came from food stamps.
It's possible.
But he also And he did pay some of the money. He did pay the money back, but they're stating he still owed money. He didn't make the engagements like he promised. So, you know,
Well, we have a lot worse problems than to worry about what Brett Favre took, because there are many politicians, even our own in our own race, within our own race, who take money and for selfish reasons and sell us out. So if he took it, he got away with it, it'll catch up with him. If he didn't take it, then he has nothing to worry about.
Shannon Sharpe said, Brett Favre was the lowest of the low. He a low mofo for doing this skip. He stole from the poorest people. You know, he got my brother hurt too. The third Sharpe, all them hard passes, Sterling Sharpe used to reach up for that ball. Sterling Sharpe made Brett Favre who he was today skip. Yeah, Sterling was a hell of a receiver for the Green Bay Packers. He got injured early because
he's not playing.
No, he's not playing now, but he was well on his way to a Hall of Fame career. He was the Green Bay Packers star receiver in the 90s. And yeah, he took a shot to the neck.
He may still make it to the Hall of Fame.
It may be doubtful. Now, next thing I want to talk about is what happened with Michael Irvin. Oh, yeah. Now, we talked about this on our briefly Sunday when we talked about Michael Irvin and how he was suing the Marriott Hotel for $100 million. To let everybody know what the gist of it is that Michael Irvin was with the NFL Network. I believe he's still with ESPN, but he was covering the Super Bowl for the NFL Network. And apparently, while staying out and doing coverage, I believe, this was in Phoenix, Arizona, he was staying at the Marriott Hotel. And purportedly, it's alleged that some young lady accused him of doing something inappropriate. And I don't even know what exactly he did, but they said sometime he got a message, an email the next morning, basically stating that he had to leave the motel. He was not allowed to do the broadcast. He couldn't do anything because of the allegation. Someone made an allegation against him. Now, he didn't take that line down, and he certainly is fighting back because now Michael Irvin has filed a $100 million lawsuit against the Marriott Hotel, as well as the accuser. They don't name her name. And he's suing for basically a defamation of character, claiming he was falsely accused of misconduct by the female employee. Irvin was pulled from the remainder of the NFL Network Super Bowl week coverage following a complaint about his behavior in a hotel on Sunday. And he has worked at the network since 2009. And when I say Sunday, I'm not talking Super Bowl Sunday. This was this past Sunday before that. The lawsuit against a Jane Doe and Marriott International Incorporated was filed Thursday in Collin County, Texas. Marriott International declined to comment. In interviews this week with Dallas 105.3 The Fan and Dallas Morning News, Irvin said he had a conversation with a woman at the Renaissance Phoenix downtown hotel that lasted between 45 seconds and 1 minute. Irvin said he didn't know her and there was no sexual wrongdoing. Irvin said he initially didn't remember the meeting because I had a few drinks, to tell you the truth. In his lawsuit, Irvin says he returned to his hotel. He briefly greeted, shook hands, and talked with several friends, including the woman, for a few minutes before going to his room alone. The lawsuit claims a hotel manager reported false information to the NFL, accusing Irvin of improper behavior towards a hotel employee. Irvin was then shockingly woken up by a crew of security and removed from the hotel without explanation or questions, the lawsuit says. Now, witnesses have come forward in his defense. According to his attorney, Levi McAfee, it is clear Michael is the latest victim of our cancel culture where all it takes is an accusation to ruin a person's life. Michael looks forward to clearing his name in court and hopes the court of public opinion will see the truth come out as well, McCatherine said. Now, this actually, ladies and gentlemen, there is a video that we have of two individuals who were there. These are white men, by the way, that actually vouched for Michael Irvin. And I'm going to play that clip right now. And I'm going to claim fair use. It is fair use. This is news. This is being reported. And I don't want punk-ass TMZ to file a copyright strike against me, because they will do that. But this is broadcast. This is news. This is fair use. I'm not claiming ownership of anything. It's being reported for news purposes. So we're going to play the clip. This is on Sports Illustrated's website. This is on Fan Nation as well. I believe Sports Illustrated website. Here's what they have.
Kind of happened.
Yeah, 100%. So we just came back in from the lobby after taking like a group picture. So I was there with a few of my friends. You know, it was a bit of a work meeting. We had a really positive interaction with Michael. Group photos. I then got a one-on-one photo with Michael, which was great. I was at the back of the group as we re-entered the lobby. So I saw Michael. He was heading towards the lifts, and then he gets called back by a young lady just to say hello. And
did you hear like exactly what happened? Or what was said?
It was a very it was a positive, like friendly conversation.
Yeah.
You know, they had a brief interaction. It was 30-40 seconds. He kept his distance at all time. Stood about a meter away from her. They ended it with a handshake, and he literally turned around and went back to the lift.
What was anything like inappropriate said, or like
No, not at all. Not at all. There was a little bit of laughter. Obviously, jovial conversation. Nothing untoward for me to actually take notice of what was going on.
So there's not even like, did she react in any? There's no way that she reacted uncomfortably at all.
No, not in my opinion. Like, she turned around, like after the conversation, she went back into the bar area or around the bar area, and everyone continued their evening. It was nothing that I witnessed that was untoward whatsoever.
Well, what happened? You were there. Yeah, so I was at the bar, and I was there with two buddies of mine. We were having like a business dinner, and we looked across the bar and saw there was Michael Irvin, which was really cool because I grew up watching football. I'm from Philadelphia, and we offered to buy him a drink. So I told the waitress, I said, "Hey, can you buy Michael a drink for us?" Michael declined the drink, but came over and said, "Thank you. I have work early tomorrow morning. I can't tonight." All that kind of stuff. And he could see, I had my phone open for a picture. So he said, "Do you want to take a picture?" I said, "Absolutely." He said, "Let's step outside. I can't take a picture inside the building," or whatever it was. Yeah. So we took a bunch of pictures outside, a little after 11 o'clock, I guess it was. And when we walked in, we walked back to go into the bar. He went straight to go to his hotel room. And I guess somebody that worked there, I don't know if it was a waitress or a bartender, came up and said, "Hey, Michael Irvin." And he said, "Oh, it's nice to meet you. I'm Michael," shook her hand. And the crazy part is it was like a 30-second interaction. Maybe it could have been a minute. Guys, I didn't really think much of it because it was just fan kind of thing. Yeah. And I woke up, that ended. He went up to his hotel. I woke up, I guess, this morning and saw this thing that said, Michael Irvin, like sexual assault. And I was like, God, I just took a picture with that guy. I can't believe it. And then I read it. And it was from the night that I was there, and I was like, "This is baffling," because I saw it and I never witnessed something like that happen before.
So, what you said, she could have been like an employee of the hotel?
Yeah, she had a uniform on, so I don't know if she was a waitress or a bartender, but she was just in that lounge area or whatever. It was a crowded bar.
And it literally, like, what was like optically, like you're looking? It was what happened? Like,
So I'm sitting. So we're sitting right here, and so she was at kind of the corner where the bar was. Came around the corner and said, "Hey, Michael Irvin." He said, "It's nice to meet you." We shook her hand, and it was about a 30-second interaction that was jovial, like a fan interaction, and that was it. And then he went, and she went back to work.
Just from your perspective, like, there's no way anything of the nature of like, you're cut from all the broadcasts. That doesn't even make sense from what you saw.
That's why this morning I felt sick when I saw it, because it was the first time I was ever, firsthand experience where something like that happened that was just fabricated. It was a totally normal conversation, and the bar was, relatively packed. Like, it was a quick conversation in a crowded area. He went on his way. I never really thought about it again. And she went back to work. He went upstairs. And when I read that it was that he was like taken off of or canceled from like the NFL
Over
Network
that,
or whatever. It
right.
just was like mind blowing that happened so quickly off a 30-second conversation where it was normal. I didn't get it. So
Wow. I appreciate you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Any message to like Michael? You got to meet him and everything.
No, I'll say this, man. I'm from Philadelphia. I grew up. Michael was, our enemy, right? But he's super, super, super nice guy, and that's why I felt like I needed to say something, only because he's a good dude, and to have that happen and have your like livelihood or your career taken is crazy. Like, it's not fair. So it was worth coming out and saying something.
All right. Hold on. I don't know if anybody saw this, but this is Michael Irvin. This is at the bar at the hotel he was staying at. I take it.
Amen.
Yeah. He's out now. Of course, I wasn't there. All of this is alleged. So everybody heard that. But you saw that the two alleged witnesses who were there stated he was jovial, he was nice. They took pictures with him. They never witnessed anything. And one saw this white lady who was an employee of the Marriott, and this blonde who shook hands with him. Never saw anything inappropriate to his knowledge. And Michael Irvin is saying his interaction with, I believe, this woman who I believe is who he was referring to that the witness saw, only was for a few matter of seconds. But yet, Michael Irvin is accused of, I don't even know what type of misconduct they've alleged. They haven't said sexual, and it hasn't been alleged if it was some type of physical remark. All they said is, from what happened, he got pulled because somebody said something, made an allegation that he did something. What was it that he did? And Michael Irvin has had his issues before. He has been accused, or he's had drug problems in the past. He's been accused of sexual assault before, but he was never charged with that. And the woman in that case, his accuser, had fabricated the entire incident. She recanted her story and pled guilty to perjury and filing a false police report, and had to pay a fine and do 90 days in jail. The allegation was that he sexually assaulted. It was a Dallas cowgirl. It was a Dallas cheerleader named Nina Sharavan, who stated that she was raped, or I should say sexually assaulted by Eric Williams, who was a member of the Cowboys, and Michael Irvin, while under the influence of cocaine. There was another incident I remember when Michael Irvin had allegedly stabbed a man, almost killed him. It was called Scissors Gate. Yeah, his teammate was Everett McIver. Over a haircut. McIver wouldn't leave the barber's chair, and Irvin didn't want to wait for a haircut, and they fought, and he grabbed a pair of scissors and stabbed him in the neck, nicking his carotid, almost hitting his carotid artery, and Jerry Jones had to pay a six-figure settlement for his silence. Now, these are all allegations. He's had sexual assault allegations before. But the bottom line is, he is innocent until proven guilty. Even Brett Favre. And bottom line, but it's very disturbing, though. I will say this, that if he didn't do anything, and we saw from the video, it looks like the only thing he did was just curse and was drunk, that he's being accused of misconduct, and he was taken from removed from the premises. But I'm glad, I will say this about Michael Irvin, I'm glad that he is suing the Marriott Hotel, its company, and this accuser, because it allows pushback against this cancel culture thing. Someone can make an accusation on you without any proof and without any evidence, and your career, your family life, your reputation is over. It's over as a result of this. So he's doing the right thing by filing this. That's how you clear your name up. And certainly if he did it, if there was some type of misconduct, I'm sure there would have been some type of recording of it. I'm sure there are cameras in these hotels that could see what happened if he did touch someone inappropriately or anything like that. But from what they said, he shook hands. That's it. But you got to push back against this cancel culture thing, and I'm glad this is a sign that men are standing up. Do you all know that there were 2 Ohio State players that were exonerated in court just recently? They were kicked off the team because of a rape allegation. And what happened and what they did and the reason why they got off was because they had recorded the alleged victim stating on the record that everything they did was consensual. And they played it for the jury. They played it for the jury. And they were acquitted. So that's why I encourage young brothers, especially if you're playing football, if you're on a team, or even if you're playing basketball, whatever sport, you're popular, men especially, you got to have either recordings, especially if you're with someone of the opposite sex. Please have a camera around. Have a camera around, or have some witnesses, because you can end up losing everything because somebody is upset about something that happened because they weren't the girl you wanted. You kicked them to the curb after having sex with them. Oh, you picked that bitch over me. Oh, I'm gonna get you. That stuff goes on. This is the story here. They were found not guilty on 2 charges of rape and a charge of kidnapping. They're lucky.
And for 2 former Ohio State University football players, the pair have been found not guilty.
Marriot and Jocelyn Went, now 24 years old, both were accused of raping a 19-year-old woman at an off-campus apartment in February of 2020. The accuser told police she was at the apartment and had consensual sex with Reap, but wanted to stop and was forced to continue, with Went also taking part.
According to court records, the woman was then recorded saying the act was consensual. We spoke with Amir Reap and his attorney, Dan Sable, after receiving the verdict today. They tell us it was the testimony and credibility that helped sway the jurors in their favor.
And they heard from his accuser, and they heard from Amir, and they heard from Jocelyn. And it was clear who was telling the truth and who wasn't, and the jury picked up on that.
Amir Reap says his focus is now pressing play on a life that had been on pause. He plans to continue with college education. We also heard from the attorney representing Jason Went.
In a statement, attorney Sam Szymanski says in part his client is, quote, relieved and eternally grateful to the jury for conducting a careful review of the evidence before reaching its verdicts of not guilty.
agenda looks like
For what?
for the show.
This was the last topic.
Oh, okay.
Why?
Just ask.
Do you have a remark about Michael Irvin?
None.
None. Nothing about it? You don't think?
If he did, he was wrong. Everybody deserves respect and to be treated fairly and equally. And if she made false accusations, she needs to be penalized for it because it's affected this man's livelihood.
Well, he's filed $100 million lawsuit.
Well,
And Marriott, if it is proven false, this person definitely will not have a job. I don't think, especially if this is going forward, and they got to make it right to Michael Irvin by paying some type of money to him. And Marriott, you know, they just don't own the Marriott Hotel. I believe there's other names of the hotels that are under their care.
well, he'll get some money out of it if she's wrong.
Yeah. Yep. And he was just kicked out of his hotel for nothing. So, yeah. So, Michael Irvin is about to get the bag.
Bag of money.
That's right. And I hate the Cowboys, but this cowboy looks like he's going to be riding off, not with another Super Bowl, but with $100 million, so purportedly. Who knows? All right, y'all. We're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to enjoy Valentine's Day. So I'm looking at the topics. Let's see. I asked people what plans you had for Valentine's Day. Netflix, 23% said Netflix and Chili's. 77% of you said nothing. 0% are not going out with bae. Okay. We're going to make, the recession has hit everybody. You know, inflation has hit everybody. We just going to sit home and do nothing. We're going to, hopefully y'all going to find some, your kids' construction paper. Maybe make a card out of that. Like old school. Yes, Danielle, money makes people do wicked stuff.
You got a comment on that about corruption and racism?
Yeah. Someone said that Collin County, Danielle worked in Collin County before she said it is very racist. She's talking about the county where it is. I think you're talking about the county where the lawsuit was filed, because that's in Texas. Now, Michael Irvin probably filed, if it's in Collin County, Texas, I don't know what city is there, but I think Michael Irvin probably lives out there. He filed this. I don't think this is the Marriott's headquarters.
I don't think so.
No, where they're incorporated at. So what he probably did was file it. So a portion of Dallas is there.
Close enough.
So it's part of Dallas, Fort Worth, and Arlington metropolitan area. So that's why he filed it there. But the Marriott Hotel, just to let everybody know, their headquarters is in Bethesda, Maryland. So just north of Washington, D.C. They own hotels, residential, and timeshare properties, and their net worth revenue is $13.86 billion as of 2021, with over 120,000 employees. We'll make that 119,999 after this lawsuit.
Yeah, he's gonna take them and win.
That's right. Michael Irvin's gonna go to club say. He's got enough to come in the club say, Michael. You know, you play with the Cowboys. I was with the Broncos. We were opposite conference teams, Mike. You welcome to come to Shay every time and spend that money. But we're gonna walk up out of here. Shout out to Darius from Atlanta. Yes, get you all some Nani's Creole blends. tried on chicken, meat, or fish, and all this goes great with every dish. We got a lot going on this week because Mardi Gras is coming up here in New Orleans. We got the Zulu Bowl. You got the parades all this week and over the weekend. The parades on Monday and Tuesday. I still haven't decided if I'm gonna ride, but that's a lot. Anybody that's ever, I don't know, my family that's been in New Orleans to ride in the parade, especially Zulu, that's getting up early in the morning, getting dressed. About 2, actually. Sometimes they tell you it doesn't make sense to go to bed because you got to get up real early. Or if you're gonna go to bed, you got to go to bed like in the day.
Yeah, so much to do.
You got so much to do, and then
It's a lot of work.
then after the Zulu the parade, they want you to go up to the club and party with them. All right. Yes, I'll be at the ball. DeAndre. Think I should. Shannon Sharpe should come to the ball. Shannon Sharpe will come to the ball. I got to say this right now. Zulu ball is the best ball I've ever been to, Skip. It's not a low mofo. It's not a mofo like Brett Favre. Brett Favre was low on the low. He drew another interception, even though he retired, Skip. This is like his 6th interception since his retirement. Ever since he do them commercials for them bad knees. Well, Brett Favre, let me just say, he a knucklehead. You know, he not a knucklehead like Scottie Pippen or Michael Jordan, but he knucklehead anyway. Yeah, Super Sunday with the Indians after Mardi Gras. Yeah. I never knew what that meant. I don't have any Mardi Gras Indians that were in my family. No. That I know of. I never asked I don't think my papa was part of it though. He probably knew some. A real Indian. I'm talking about Mardi Gras Indian. Yeah. All right. And we got I got before we get out of here, Black History Month fact, ladies and gentlemen. I did one yesterday on a black inventor by the name of Alexander Miles. Alexander Miles was the creator basically of elevator safety. He actually made it possible for elevators to close the door safely because people were falling out of the elevators and it was causing a safety problem. People died actually with that. And there was a way that you can secure the door until it reached its elevator doors. And also another Black History fact, we're going to bring in another black inventor. I did the lawyers last week, but I'm going to talk about another inventor. And and this one in particular is alive and well. This gentleman is none other than Lonnie Johnson. Lonnie Johnson is the inventor of the Super Soaker. He is also the creator of the Nerf gun. He worked with NASA. He was a NASA engineer and he worked with the Air Force. He actually had to sue to get the rights back to the Super Soaker and Nerf gun. But he created that, and he created those toys, which are known worldwide, and was robbed out of millions of dollars in royalties. Now, he lives in Atlanta, Georgia with his wife, Linda, and they have 4 children. They live in Ainsley Park. And he invented the Super Soaker while working with the Air Force. It was originally called the Power Drencher when it appeared in toy shops in 1990, and he eventually got its trademark name after some tweaks in remarketing. So in February of 2013, he filed a lawsuit against Hasbro after he discovered that he was being underpaid royalties for the Super Soaker and was awarded nearly $73 million in royalties from Hasbro Inc. in arbitration According to Hasbro, the Super Soaker is approaching sales of $1 billion. He got $73 million from $1 billion. And he was selling the models for between $10 to $60, depending on the model, generating $200 million in sales in 1991. I know because we bought all of those. As kids, we had Super Soakers. My brother in particular, both my brother and I. That was fun. And the Nerf gun, which I also had, so he helped create that as well. So shout out to Lonnie Johnson. This is your Black History fact, ladies and gentlemen. Lonnie Johnson, the creator of the Super Soaker and Nerf gun. I'll give it up for him. All right. Happy birthday to your baby, to your little boy. All right, Danielle. What's up, DeAndre? Yes, subscribe to the Facebook page at Commonwealth Cosby. Get the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby on Kindle. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not, that is a must-read book to see what happened to Dr. Bill Cosby. I'm still promoting it. I'm still trying to get it in paperback, y'all. We were talking about it. And also, another way you could support me is by buying songs such as Video Soul and Gotta Get On Up. Now, I'm still working on music. I've never stopped, and I have some stuff that's going to be coming out. We're working on soon. I'm working with my producer now. But in the meantime, why don't we go ahead, since we've gotten on down, it's time to get on up. Yes, Danielle, Lonnie Johnson invented the Super Soaker, and you're going to learn about some other inventors later this week I'm going to put up. So that was your Black History fact. All right, y'all, it's time to get on up and get on out of here. Dad, you want to say something?
Have a safe evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Tell the ladies happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day, darling.
There we go. Yes, the New Orleans way. Darling. All right.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll live. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on Earth, Wind, and Fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something and
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll meet.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up,
baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
I'd also like to say happy Valentine's Day tomorrow to all the men that will take out their shy chicks. Have a good one. Oh, that was low, Skip. That was low.